Hey, it's Tony Brueski, and this is our week in review over the weekend, taking a look back at some of the most compelling conversations and stories that we've covered for you of the last week. Brand new episodes back Monday morning, bright and early, 5 a.m. here on the podcast.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski.
Featuring defense attorney, Hidden Killers daily contributor, and host of the Defense Diaries podcast, Bob Murdaugh.
What was your take on just how far this went? Because initially, when I heard, what she was saying, they were kind of felt like off the cuff comments, and she shouldn't be doing it by any means, and that in itself is bad. But then when it went all the way to the Facebook page story,
oh man,
that to me just took it to a whole new level of wrong. It was like, this isn't just some kind of Karen-esque type character that just likes to spout her mouth off here and there. She actually influenced a juror being allowed to be a juror on this trial. Got one removed.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's another oh my God move. There's a long list of things that if just a few of these things, if just one of these things in this filing is true, and I have no reason to believe it is not, it would be cause for a real retrial. My question now to you is, okay, so this woman did these things. What happens to her? What are the repercussions for Rebecca Hill if, in fact, everything in this affidavit is accurate? Because this seems like quite a crime.
Dude, Tony, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it brings up the first question. So if it gets to the stage where, again, I get all excited when I'm talking, so I leave the track that I was on. So, again, they stayed the appellate case. It's getting kicked back down to the trial court because the trial court does lose jurisdiction of the case once it goes up to appeal. Like after 30 days, that's why that 30 days. However, in South Carolina, they do have this statute that allows for after discovered evidence that gives them a year if they discover something, and it all has to take place down at the trial court level. So Newman still has to say, okay, I'm giving you leave of court to file it. I think that he will. And he's still basically at that point, they're going to go in and they're going to argue this motion, and they're going to say, you have to give us an evidentiary hearing. So let's assume that takes place. Here's the real question. What does Becky Hill do?
Yeah.
Does she take the fifth? Because you're absolutely right. Jury tampering is an absolute crime. It's a prison type crime. It's not a slap on the wrist type crime. It's a felony. So at least it is in Illinois. So she's going to have to think long and hard with her attorney. What do I do? Because if she gets up on the stand and she takes the fifth, it's basically an admission that everything in the affidavits is true. And if she doesn't, then she's either going to have to lie, or she's going to have to try to explain it in the way that you just tried to explain it. Well, these are just some off the cuff statements I made. These are, they're trying to frame it in a way that, I had him cornered in a room and was pointing my finger. Don't let him fool you. He's a huge lie. It wasn't like that. It was just things that I said in passing.
Yeah.
Use your brains, just look at everything, just be aware, those kind of things. But then when you get down to that Facebook thing where she actually was making up posts and lied to the judge.
Yes.
Absolutely. I don't know what she's going to do, because that is the biggest question. Does she take the fifth? If she takes the fifth, it's done. He's getting a new trial because she's admitted it. If she's saying, I can't say anything on the stand because I'm going to incriminate myself, it tells you all you need to know about the truth in the affidavits. Now, if she decides to go for it and says, okay, I think I can handle these questions, this is all harmless, and I think I can explain it all away. Well, I mean, we're going to find out. But if it comes down, and she would be arrested just like anybody else, and she'd be presumed innocent. Mm-hmm. Now, it's super unusual because her case is being tried in the court already. You know what I mean? It's like, we're going to be seeing evidence. There's going to be sworn testimony that can be used in a criminal trial down the road. So everything is intertwined, man. This case is the craziest case I've ever seen. I've been actively watching trials forever, and this one just takes the cake because of everything. It's just so huge, and there's just so many tentacles. It's like, it's never ending. You think it's over and then this thing explodes. Because I mean, people are like, oh, Putin, Griffin want to make money. That's why they're doing it. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm like, the appeal is going to go on for 10 years. This thing is like never done until it's done. You know what I mean? It's always going to pop up every couple of years. We'll hear a story about it, but like explosive stuff like this is just insane, man.
And so much of it on one case. That's,
it's unbelievable. Yeah. And it's not just this case. It's like, you still, I mean, with the financial cases and then the Stephen Smith case, and then you've got it's like never ending. It's like there's just so much going on. And it's on Twitter today, people were like, hey, you just don't you don't understand the Low Country, man. It's a different world down here. And like the corruptions. I'm like, man, I live in Chicago. We had 2 governors go to prison. We had Mayor Daley and then another Mayor Daley, both for a really long time. I know what corruption is, I mean, it's one of those things in, Chicago that is just well-founded that we're probably one of the most corrupt cities on the planet.
You're consuming the Hidden Killers podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.